Alright, I'm back. I thought I'd hit record end on that last one, but as I began to get up, I saw that it was still recording. Anyways, now that I've got a whole new set of 10 minutes here, or whatever YouTube rules are, I'm going to back up a little bit. I get to Ron Hines' house, and normally I would just walk in his house. You know, I'm real good friends with his children. I go over there, you know, on a semi-regular basis whenever I'm off and stuff like that. And it's just common practice that, you know, I could just walk in his house without fear of intrusion or anything like that. But this time, I went up there, and the Lord told me as I was pulling in his driveway, he said, don't just go in his house. I was like, all right, why not? He said, I want you to knock on the door, and I want you to be invited in. I was like, all right. So I go up to the door on the first level, and I knock on the door, and nobody answers the phone or the door. And I was like, Lord, you want me to knock on the door? Nobody's answering. He said, go to the next level. So I go to the next level, knock on that door. Hope comes by. She lets me in. As Hope is letting me in, Ron Hines walks by the little foyer area where I'm at this door. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, I'm doing fine. I said, I just come to see you. He's like, thought you were going to call me today at 10. I said, I did. I said, it was actually 10:01. I said, but I did call you today. And I said, I didn't hear from you, so I drove out here. He's like, all right, come over here. So we go in the kitchen, and, you know, he grabs a few steaks or whatever he's going to ready to take and throw it in on the grill. We go down there and sit at the grill, by the grill, and he's cooking these steaks, and he says, so what do you got to say? And I don't even remember everything I said. I really don't. Part of it was, one thing I knew I couldn't do was ask him for help. I was not allowed to ask him for help. I could not come out and say, Ron Hines, the Lord has sent me here, and you're going to help me accomplish becoming a lawyer. Now, what that even means at this point, I don't know. And to this day, I still don't know totally. However, I have received things from him that have gave me the next step, which I'm about to tell you about. So I'm sitting there talking to him. Now, before this, the Lord has told me, once he told me that I was going to be president, over the course, this all happened July 27th in the morning. And the call, whenever God said you're going to be president, it happened July 27th, 5:47 in the morning. Since between then and this point that I'm speaking of now, it was either Memorial Day or Labor Day or something. I'm really not into holidays. I don't really like holidays. I'm going to have to get into holidays and research them, because I think there's a lot of propaganda in the world to just make some money, and I really don't like it. I think that's part of the problem with America, is all the greed, and we take everything and we make everything. The love of money is the root of all evil. That's what the Bible says. That's the truth, and so we'll just jump from there. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and I know there's certain things I got to tell him. I know somehow he's supposed to help me, but I'm not allowed to ask for help. I know somehow that I'm going to be something in his family's life that's going to help his family have a revival and come back to God and everyone serving the Lord. Now, how all that's going to take place, I don't know. So I share these things with him, and one other thing that I knew, because the Lord had told me, is that I've got a 6-year timeline. There's a 6-year timeline that I'm going to have to study and prepare. And then the 7th year is going to be a year of rest, and then the 8th year is going to be the year of election. So, now, year of rest, you say, well, we'll address that later. I still don't exactly know what all that means or how that's even possible, because to take a year of rest just doesn't seem productive to me at all. I don't see. But as I've been praying, especially these last couple of weeks, I believe the Lord has began to give me clarity, and I'll speak about that timeline in the future. But for now, 6 years of preparation. And so the number I'm looking to hear from him is 6 years. And I need to hear it from him without me prompting him to say 6. So I started to ask him about being a lawyer, and I was like, you know, how long does it take? How long can it be done in? He said, well, it normally takes about 7 years or so. And I said, is there any way to do it any faster? Can that time be shortened in any way? He's like, yeah. He said, if you work hard, if someone was to work hard and, you know, go to summer school and, you know, do extra, he said you could easily get it done in 6. So when he said that, he didn't say 5. He didn't say 6.5. He didn't say 4. He said 6. And that was the number I was looking for. And I even told him, I said, okay. I said, that's the number I was looking for, because the Lord told me that I had 6 years to prepare. Now, whether or not I'm going to end up with a law degree out of this, I really don't know. But anyway, so I told him, I said, I need to know, where should I even go? And he starts spouting off some schools. He said, do you have any credits? I said, well, I do, but I don't think they're transferable. And I said, plus they're from Tennessee, and I don't, I just tried to get a substitute job. And even though I've got a lot of hours, worth of college credit hours, they won't transfer for me to become a substitute teacher. So based on that, I told him, I said, let's assume I've got nothing. He said, well, you're going to have to get a bachelor's in science or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but either way, a law degree. And he said, you're going to have to go to a 4-year college first and get that. He said, and then you go to law school and take the bar and whatever. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, where do you suggest? And he started naming off some places, and he said, well, if you want to go to Tennessee, see if your credits will do. He named off some. None of them stood out to me. And so we go back up in the house, and we're still talking, and we're sitting at the table, and I was telling him, about the timeline, and he said, well, he said, when I was younger, the Lord told me that I was going to go to Africa for missions, and he said it took 30 years for that to take place. He said, so all this is possible. He said, it could happen. And then he said the magic words that I wasn't allowed to say, but that I was listening for and waiting for. He said, is there any way I can help? And I said, since you asked, I said, I believe that's one of the reasons why I'm here. I said, I believe you're supposed to help in some way, but I don't know how. And he's like, all right, well. And I said, just pray about it. And he said, when is your store open? I said, well, it's open every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Now, at this time, Faith was going to school, and on Wednesdays, we only had one vehicle, and she had to drive to E-Town with that vehicle. And so normally the kids would be dropped off at the shop. Well, now they had to be dropped off at the house on Wednesdays because I couldn't get to the shop because I only had one vehicle. So we closed the shop on Wednesdays because I didn't have a way to get over there after she went to school. And I forgot about this. So he tells me he's going to come over Wednesday. And I'm not sure when he's going to come over. He said he had a court date. And he said that he would come over after that court date in Breckenridge County, because where I'm at is in Breckenridge County. So, again, Tuesday night, all night long, I am anxious. Of course, I'm a night out, and I don't know when he's coming over. I don't know if he's going to be over early. I don't know if he's going to be over late. I'm pretty sure he said sometime in the afternoon, but it was all based on when this court date was over. And so I'm over at the shop again, tired, super tired, and I was like, Lord, I need to get some rest. I said, but I don't want to miss this meeting with him. I said, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to miss this meeting. And the Lord said, go to sleep. I'll wake you up. And I was like, again? And it was hard to put my trust in that because I was so tired. I knew an alarm clock wasn't going to wake me up. I knew it wasn't. So I was like, okay, Lord. I had my phone next to me in case he calls me on his way or something like that. He never did. 4 o'clock rolls around. God wakes me up. He says, it's time to get up. I was like, okay. So I got up, and I was heading over to the office to get my shoes, because that's where my shoes were. My shoes were in the office. I was going to straighten up my hair a little bit and blah, blah, blah. And as I'm walking past the front door, okay, as I'm walking past the front door, I look out the front door, and Ron is getting out of his truck, about to shut his door. Okay, and I just took I was just walking along, and I looked over, and I took a double take, and I was like, what? No way! God woke me up before he pulled in, and by the time I got out of bed, he had pulled in and was just hopping out of his truck. I was like, man, no way. So I unlocked the door, and I go. I didn't even get my shoes on. Ron comes on in there, so I'm like totally unprepared. And anyway, he's like, well, he said, I just got out of court. He said, so what are we going to talk about? And I was like, well, I'm really not sure. He said, I'm sorry I'm late. He said, He said, sorry I'm late. He said, but court took a little longer, and he said they're expecting me in Grayson County right now. I said, well, if you got to go, I said, go ahead. He said, well, I told you I was going to come by and talk, so I'm here. I was like, well, that really was pretty cool to me. I thought that, it was pretty cool. Oh, man. It's 10 minutes. I don't know if I can upload this. We're going to try. Right back at you.